The downsides are exactly what the downsides were before. This cushion is super plush. It wears out quickly. This shoe will not last as long as other Hokas. The upper will not hug you. But there's something about it when you go out and run that makes this an exceptionally fun shoe to run in. Hi there, this is Nathan Lehman at the Ultra Running Company, and we appreciate you checking in for another shoe review. Today is a interesting review because it may have a very short shelf life, although who knows, with Hoka they may continue this on for a long time, so we hope you find it interesting. Today we're going to be reviewing the Clifton One, what they're calling the OG, and a shoe that was very popular when it first came out in 2013. We're gonna jump right into it, tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly, so let's go. First of all, a little background. When Hoka introduced the Clifton was their lightweight, high cushion shoe. It was kind of a Hoka for the masses, something that could introduce people that maybe weren't doing ultra marathoning or didn't feel like they were quite geriatric enough to the Hoka line. Something that would transition Hoka from being a niche player in the wildly cushioned long distance shoes into something more for the everyday man and woman out running. So the idea of this shoe was to be good for daily training, 5K, 10K, or ultra marathons, so really across the whole gamut. When it first came out, it was a huge success for them. It kind of got Hoka's name onto the map with folks who hadn't heard of it before, and was one of the first shoes that we had at the Ultra Running Company when we opened that year. This was one of the first shoes that they introduced, so we were really excited about it. It made the brand a little more mainstream. So let's dive right into what it is. First of all, this is a throwback shoe. It is exactly the same as the original Clifton. We've had some questions, maybe the color schemes are different, maybe the cushion is different. In our experience, this is exactly the same. We even went back through our history and found an original Clifton. So this is brand new Clifton One. This is just a Clifton because they didn't know if there would be a 2 at that point. So the original Clifton, all the good and bad things from this original Clifton made their way into the Clifton One because from our perspective, it's exactly the same shoe. So what kind of shoe is this? Well, in Ultra Running Company parlance, this is a low drop, high cushion road running shoe. So let's break that down. First thing is we look at what's called the drop on the shoe, which is the amount of cushion in the heel versus the amount of cushion in the midfoot. Generally speaking, the more cushion you have in the heel, well, the better it feels when you land on your heel, but also the more likely it is that the shoe will force you to land on your heel, perhaps not land under your center of gravity. A nice low drop shoe like this Clifton, which has 5 millimeters more cushion in the heel than it does right under your metatarsals, is that as you come through in a shorter, efficient stride to land under your body, which mechanically is going to cause you the least amount of stress on your joints, put a little bit more of that stress in your muscles, which can get stronger. As you come through, a heel that is closer to flat won't catch on the ground. So if you imagine this as a high heel, as you come through on your landing, a high heel will catch on the ground and cause you to land in front of you. A lower drop, or perhaps a zero drop shoe, will allow you to come right through and land under your body, generally speaking in a full foot or forefoot landing, although you could still land on your heel if that's where you land under your body. 5 millimeters is right in the middle of what we look at as on this drop scale, and so this is kind of a responsible place to be. It's not going to be quite as smooth as a zero drop shoe, but it's going to give you a margin for error, especially as you're working on getting into a more efficient stride. So nice spot there. As far as cushion goes, this Clifton One has 24 millimeters of cushion in the forefoot, 29 millimeters of cushion in the heel. That's where that 5 millimeter drop comes from, the difference between those two. And that's a lot of cushion. As when it first came out, when you put this shoe on, you're going to feel all of that cushion. It's very soft, it's very padded, and you'll put it on and there'll be no doubt in your mind that there's a lot of cushion under your foot. Now, generally speaking, before Hoka's came along, when you had that much cushion, you'd sit up on top of the of the shoe, and that would make it very unstable from side to side. What Hoka does is has a little bucket inside, so you're actually sitting down about here. All this stuff on the side just gives you a little bit of, I guess, stability, consistency in the shoe so that you're not rocking from side to side with all that cushion. That's kind of the secret that Hoka figured out. That's a main piece of their secret sauce in being able to add more cushion to it. So the cushion itself, as I mentioned, very, very soft. When this shoe first came out, it came out at about the same time as a shoe called the Hoka, which used what they called RMAT, which was a much firmer, much longer lasting cushion. It just didn't feel as pillowy and plush as this Clifton does. Since this remains a very pillowy and plush shoe, you're going to really sink in as you go throughout the shoe. You sink in on the back, and then it's got this really nice rocker on the front that just kind of pops you forward. I always thought it was a comfortable shoe to walk around in, but once you start moving and you take advantage of this rocker right here, the shoe wants you to keep moving. It's a really fun shoe to both take off in and keep going, landing anywhere from your midfoot to your forefoot. If you're landing on your heel, it's just going to give you that nice margin for error. The downside of having a very pillowy cushion is that there's a lot of movement in that cushion. So you'll see I can actually squeeze this from side to side, and it moves, which means that as you're running further miles in this shoe, there is a little bit of inconsistency and a little bit of play that kind of takes away from the consistent feeling throughout your whole run. And so if you're going to go exceptionally long distances, you really ought to build up those ankle muscles, the muscles on your feet, to account for the fact that there is going to be some movement there. That was really my personal knock on this shoe when it first came out, is that side to side movement, because it was so plush. But with that plush comes unbelievable comfort. Moving to the upper of the shoe, the entire idea of this shoe was to be lightweight. And to give you an idea, the Hoka rates this shoe for women as 6.6 ounces and for men as 7.7 ounces. Now, those aren't the sizes that you and I are wearing unless you have exceptionally, you are of exceptionally small stature with very small feet. It's a men's 9. The average shoe size for men is somewhere between a 10.5 and an 11, and so that adds weight. In my big flipper size is a size 13. This is a 10-ounce shoe. That's fantastic for a shoe that has this much cushion, and it's especially fantastic when you compare it to the Clifton 5 that's out right now. Still a lightweight, high cushion shoe, but that shoe for me is a 12-ounce shoe, so 20% heavier than the original Clifton. As you look at it, and we'll do a quick comparison in a second, but as you look at it, that means that this initial idea of being a super lightweight, high cushion shoe, they maintain that, bringing out the Clifton 1. The Clifton 5 has evolved a little bit. The downside of having such a lightweight shoe is that they focus on that by having a very lightweight material on the upper, this top part of the shoe. And frankly, this was never a dialed in, super tight, snug fit shoe. The forefoot was always a little bit sloppy for folks. It didn't hug your foot around the heel and the arch the way some of the more specifically designed shoes do now, even the way the Clifton 5 does now. And really that's what started Hoka's iterations on it as they moved from the Clifton 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 4, so on. All of the things that existed then, there's a lot of conversation around the industry. In order to get lightweight, this tongue is an exceptionally thin tongue. Some people love that. Some people can't stand the thin tongue because it doesn't give them that really nice grippy feeling on their foot. So in general, what you're getting with the Clifton 1 is exactly what you got with the Clifton 1 before. It's this exceptionally light shoe, exceptionally high cushion, with a ton of design things that could be improved. When we look at it compared to the Clifton 5 out now, everything about this Clifton 5 is technically better than the Clifton 1. The materials are better. The cushioning lasts longer. The cushioning is more springy. The fit around both the heel and the instep is more dialed in, locks you in a bit more. But the challenge is this shoe has lost that visceral feel that the Clifton 1 had. And so by moving away from that lightweight high cushion, adding 2 ounces, so again, this is a 12-ounce shoe in my size 13, what they've really made the Clifton into now is kind of a mini Bondi. And there we go. I'm gonna get people yelling at me for calling it a Bondi again when they want it to be the Bondi Beach. It's our video, so we get to call it what we want. So when we go to this Bondi, mini Bondi in this case, great shoe, but again, a little bit further away from that high cushion, low weight formula. Right now, the high cushion, low weight formula with Hoka is the Mach. And while it's a great shoe, the Mach actually gives up 6 millimeters of cushion to the Clifton One. So what you're getting is a shoe that weighs exactly the same, again, a 10-ounce shoe for me in both the Mach and the Clifton One, but you're getting a lot less of that plush feel and more spring in the Mach. So arguably a better racing shoe, but moves a little bit away from that original formula. So for years now, we have heard that everyone thinks this Clifton was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And frankly, I think it's pretty tough to argue with that. It is the purest expression of the Hoka lightweight, high cushion ratio, and it's amazingly fun to run in. The downsides are exactly what the downsides were before. This cushion is super plush. It wears out quickly. This shoe will not last as long as other Hokas. The upper will not hug you. But there's something about it when you go out and run that makes this an exceptionally fun shoe to run in. We hope you'll come on into the Ultra Running Company. We have the full size run in stock now. We don't know whether they're ever gonna make this again. They made one run, and when they're gone, they're gone. But hopefully this will have a long shelf life, and this is the kind of shoe that they'll keep as kind of a throwback, as a purist shoe. And those people that love it will love it. And those people that want something that's a little bit more technically superior may move on to the newer Cliftons, the new Machs, that sort of thing. So come on in, give it a shot. We're really excited to have it here. Can't wait to see you soon. Thanks for watching.